So I could screen share it, and when John screen shares in a little bit, I just want to comment on this right here, where underneath the wheel on the pink app, it has a percentage of progress to it. I really started paying attention to that this week, and you'll notice everything from a negative number to a positive number as it's rolling through the different frequencies, depending on the program you're doing. And something that I really noticed this week is just really noticing and kind of writing down what frequencies that I was really weak in. So the fact is when you look at that number and you pay attention to it, the numbers are going to be either positive or negative. And the negative, the more negative that it is, up to negative 99.0, is the more I guess it's telling us, it's giving us feedback that your body's really, really, really needing it. And so you'll notice that as it's switching every 10 seconds through the different frequencies, you'll notice, let's just say 88.2 comes up, for example, as negative 99. And then you'll have another frequency come up and another frequency come up. And then 88.2 pops up again. And the next time it will be maybe negative 74. And you'll just notice that that number is going to get more and more positive as that frequency keeps coming around till eventually it comes up to positive 80, positive 90. And then before you know it, that frequency, through the sophistication of the technology, your frequency that was needed the most works, the software and the technology of the Healy works that frequency through. So all of a sudden your body gets it in tune with where you want it to be, and then it disappears, and then it's on to the next frequency. So I don't know if that made sense, but I'm looking at the progress again underneath the kind of progress wheel of the pink app right here underneath, where it's saying the percentage of progress. So again, negative is really indicative that your body is needing that frequency, and a positive means that it needs it, but that what you witness over time when you just watch the program, you watch those frequencies, those numbers increase, go from negative into a positive to eventually they just disappear and your body's in tune. So I've just been really interested in that this week. Something else that I've really been noticing this week and hearing from others, and just drawing a greater sort of meta correlation with all the other Healy users, is just how our tastes change. Like, as a family, we used to be wildly big Chipotle fans. Like, we love Chipotle. And now none of us, my wife and my kids, none of us really like the taste of it anymore. And it's things like that we've noticed with some of our other people that we work with, and just hearing stories from other people where tastes and appetites change as you're exposing yourself to this sort of reharmonization, this recoherence, you might call it, is exposing yourself to frequency. So just kind of, that's kind of what's on my mind at the moment and this week, and just continuing to educate myself and witness what's taking place as I'm using the Healy technology on myself and my family alike every day. So,
maybe it would give them just a quick bit of background, because since we do have a few new folks, Zach, I probably should have done this first, but just sort of an introduction of yourself and how long you've been using the Healy and frequencies, and then we'll move on and I'll do a demo again tonight.
Yep, certainly. So my wife Autumn and I, we have headoverhealy.com. We help families. We really target the family demographic and helping them not only appropriate the right Healy, but also just kind of help give them the resources to get started when they have a Healy. So that's kind of how our organization works. We've been using Healy actively since June. We were early adopters back in May. It's only been in the United States since May, so we had to wait 6 weeks until our device arrived. We've used it just about every day since, and we've seen all kinds of improvements in our life through what we can really ascertain is coherence. We're experiencing more and more coherence within. So it's just been a wonderful, wonderful thing to introduce into our lives. And I'm working in agriculture. I've worked in agriculture for 10 years as a consultant, kind of on the organic cutting edge side of things, more of your, some might say fringe, unconventional agriculture. And I am trying to incorporate Healy into the agricultural movement because I believe it has its place with anything growing, living and non-living. I mean, even mechanical Healy is has demonstrated to be a solution to people's problems. We have a member in our organization this week who posted a testimonial on a Facebook page of ours, how she has a sophisticated security locking system to her house. And this would be in the United Kingdom where she lives. And she locked herself out of the house and she completely was at a loss. And she literally took a picture of her lock in her Healy and ran a scan and she unlocked her house. So just really cool stuff like that keeps happening. So yeah, that's me.
Wow.
And my wife Autumn, she's probably going to pop in here in a little bit because I told her tonight we might be talking about the mental balance programs, which is a page in the Pink app that is an absolute go-to when the seas get choppy and of life. So yeah.
All right, thanks, Zach. Um, Maybe what I'll do is I will start off with a demo. Uh, well, my name's John Miser, and I got introduced to Healy in September of this past year, and um, I've had a variety of experiences. I first came on board because I'm very interested in just taking care of my own health, and it's something that just drives me in that way. And when I read this, that you could acquire a Healy, and if you didn't like it, you had 14 days to turn it back. And I thought, okay, that's a pretty easy decision where I can test it. And a friend of mine said, hey, I can guarantee you, John, you're not going to return it. And he was right. Um, I became very excited with it, what it could do for me. And I've had a variety of different benefits from Healy so far. And then a lot of the people I've shared with, it's just each week I keep hearing kind of amazing stories of what happened. So what I like to do is to continue to help people understand what they're getting in their hands, because a lot of us just have no frequency experience. And when you begin to feel the frequencies in your body and you begin to experience them, you just all of a sudden begin to know. We just haven't had a language to put around this to actually know what's happening. So the reason we created this user group was so that people could ask questions. We can go through, we can demonstrate how to use the tool. We can, continue to help support people know how to use this so that they get the benefits out of Healy, and then they can start to ask questions of us. So if in here in the chat, you have the ability to pump in or raise your hand if you want, if you have a question that you'd like to at any point in time. But I will go through and demo the product for you, and we'll run a demo on here. I'm going to bring up my screen. And so here's kind of what it looks like on your device. You'll have a pink dot, and if you get the professional version, you'll have the blue dot app. And these are the two applications that are on your phone that you will use to run and drive Healy. And this is Healy here for anybody that doesn't have it, but you can see I've got it on here. And I'm going to click on the blue dot app and I'm going to bring it up. And when I do, here it is. So now I've got the app here, and then up here in this corner, it shows I've got 84% of my battery life still going in my Healy. That's what this stands for. So that stands for 84% battery, shows that I've got a Wi-Fi connection. These are just graphics up here on top, really don't mean anything. And these are two different ways to run analysis over here. So I can run something called a resonance analysis, and I'll explain that in a moment, or I can run an aura analysis. And then down here at the bottom, we've got three little things that you can touch. We've got the little gear wheel, and I touch that. That allows me to do, if I had to switch my language, if I had to do something with the cloud or info, if I want to know, what do I want to know about my Healy? If somebody were to ask me a question, it'll tell me what version am I on in the software, and, stuff we probably most of the time won't need to know, but there it is. But this is it. And then I actually have a manual down here at the bottom. If I wanted to get some information on my Healy, I have access to it right here on my Healy. So people might not have known that, but I've got that here where I can go through and begin to look at information on the manual. All right, so now that's here underneath the little gear wheel. Over here on this side where we see the house, I click the little house over there, and this will be a list of all my clients. Everybody that I've scanned or run on my Healy device, I have them here as a client. So I have a dog over here. That's Brooklyn. It's my friend's dog. I've got a dog in there as a client where I could run frequencies on that. I've got an 18-year-old. I've got a friend of mine. Actually, this is my accountant who's actually here. It's a friend of mine. Last week, I did a picture of our group. So this was last week's Healy user group, and that's where we ran frequencies. And the woman who burned the roof of her mouth on a pizza, essentially, with hot cheese after running group frequencies, she reported that her mouth was better. It reduced the swelling. So I'll run a group frequency, but that was the picture that we ran of the group. I've got my coffee machine. My coffee machine's not working, so
Ooh, you have a Jura? Good. You're serious about coffee. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of my big goals in life, is to have a Jura.
Is it? Okay, good.
It is, absolutely. They make the best espresso.
Well, mine just died, so we're trying to see if it works. So far, so far nothing. I've had it for 20 years. This is a good Jura, but it died, so.
Oh no.
And anyway, so then these are just, a variety of friends and people. And I've got a friend down here. It's her family. They've got some challenges going on right now. And then I've, over here, I got my lovely house plant, and I'm running some experiments, some vibrations on my plant. So those are the kind of people that you can, when you got here, run a new client. And then I've got down here lists, and the lists are, well, if I've actually run with a client, if I put their name in there like I have mine, all my old set of analysis are here. So you see my name, there's a dime, there's a date stamp, the exact time, and the program. And if I come over here and click it, actually, let's see, that one's not behaving. If I come over here, my Healy, this is what happens when you get a glitch. Okay, so I click it over here, and when I ran this on the 22nd of January, I had back pain at this level, and these were the different levels that came up for me. Then it ran, and then down here at the bottom, I can just pop this, and I can run a scan on myself, or shoot some vibrations. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to run a resonance analysis. I got back there by clicking this little electric bolt. So again, I touch the house, I go over here, I touch the electric bolt, I come back here, and now we're going to do a scan. So if you got your Healy, we're going to do a scan, and I might as well do our group again. So I'm going to cancel the sharing for a moment. I'm going to take a picture of our group, and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, so now I'm going to come back out. I'm going to get my screen sharing here, show you where I'm at. So here's a picture of our group. Now, down here in the bottom, I can use this photo in Healy. So I'm going to say yes, I'm going to touch that. And there we are up there in the photo. So I've added that. Now I come down here. So if you had a family, you want to do this with your family, you've got your grandchildren that live over there with mom and dad, you could put a picture of them in here and They can send you a picture. If you got a picture in your iPhone already, you don't have to take a picture. You can just use one in your iPhone. And then what I do is I'm going to record a vibration. So this is where I get to act as a surrogate. So I'll hold this and I'm going to touch this little guy right here and that plus sign. And it brings it up and it says, please hold Healy in your right hand. And I'm now going to think of our group. And I'm recording our group vibration. It's now added our group vibration right here. There we are. So I am going to now type in a name. I'm going to call it the, what's today's date? It's the 11th. There we go.
The frigid few.
Yeah, the frigid few. Healy user group. And I've got the date in there. And so now I'm done with that. I'm going to click this little check mark to save it. It says, do you want to save it into the cloud? Okay, I will. And it's going to come back up here and say, would you like to perform an analysis now? Yes. So I come back in here and I touched the resonance analysis, and here's our Healy user group. And then it asks us for a focus statement. And it says, what do we have the greatest resonance for? So now all of you out there, I'm going to invite us all to, what do we have the greatest resonance for? And I will, actually, there's somebody here that.
Uh-oh. John, you went mute.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm back.
Yep.
Okay, I think I saw somebody that was trying to get in, but I didn't add them in while I was here.
Make sure you got that email for me.
Oh, there's somebody. Wait, where'd it go? Somebody's trying to get in and it's disappearing on my site here. Interesting. There it is. Okay, I got him. All right. So here I am. Excuse me. Now I had to admit somebody that was coming in late. What do we have the greatest resonance for? So this is our focus statement. So everybody kind of thinks like, what do I want to resonate for? So the way I try and help everybody understand this, if we had a tuning fork that resonated at 527 hertz, and you had a couple other tuning forks over here, one that also was at 527 and one that, let's say, was at 400. If I bang the tuning fork that vibrates at 527, I can hold these other two tuning forks, the one that's tuned to 527 and the one that's tuned to 400, and only the 527 is going to vibrate. Only the 527 is going to vibrate, not the 400, because that one is what's going to resonate. So in your body, when it's asking this question, what do you resonate with? You're trying to ask, where in my body, what's off balance? Is it my tendons? Is it my muscles? Is it my heart? Is it my liver? Is it my mental disposition? So that's what we're just holding. We don't know, it's an inquiry. So with this inquiry now, I'm going to go select a database. And as this is a group, I've selected all Healy programs. So I've selected all Healy programs, and I'm going to start an analysis.
Did you send my money through? Okay.
No. I will. So let me see, where am I? Okay, so now I'm going to surrogate, and I push my finger here. And I'm running an analysis for us as a group. Okay, so it comes up here, and here's what it came up for us. Healy Gold at 72%. So the way I read this, it says all Healy programs, which that's the database we ran, and at 72% it says Healy Gold. At 61%, us as a group, it said Healy Sleep. At 58%, it says Healy Learning Programs. At 52%, Healy Bioenergetic Balance. and at 51% Healy protection programs. So down here at the bottom at actions, I can select this, and like I did last week, I'm going to select vibrate, and I've got 1minute 20 seconds over here. I can touch this little bar right here, and you see I can have, less than a second, 0.88, 3 seconds, almost 4, 8 seconds, and almost a half. Shows you how many seconds, minute 20, here's all the seconds that you can, or time that you can go through. So I will select 1minute 20 seconds, and I'm now vibrating this to the group. So the entire group, Zach is in South Dakota, Mom is in Mendota Heights, I've got other friends around here. I got my buddy Rafi, he's out east, Raphael's out east, right? We've got people all over. And these frequencies are touching everybody right now. And so on this Blue Dot app, you can both scan and vibrate frequencies to people from here to there. And some people can actually feel these while they're vibrating right now. There's about 5 or 10% of people, while this is happening, they can feel the vibration happening in this moment.
I believe I certainly can, and largely last week too, and largely that's because I'm also running a pink program directly into myself. So I'm getting sort of a double action, but it's, again, I can feel it right in here. That's nice.
Okay, so that stopped. So I can just pause for a second, and here we go. There's somebody. Okay, welcome, Paul. Paul's coming in right now. So I'm just going to check. I'm going to pause for a moment before I do the next scan, because a lot of people ask. So I just did a scan here, and we got the top 5 programs across everything here. So I will run a second scan on the gold cycle programs to find out what are the top programs within the gold cycle for us as a group. So in order to do that, what I do is I come back down here to the little electric bolt and I touch that. I then say I want to run another scan, a resonance scan. I touch that. I'm going to go pick us as the Healy user group, and I probably should have done a better job of naming us, but I think I can remember the group.
That looks like last week's.
That looks like last week's, okay. I'm going to do this one. Yeah, okay, that looks like this week's, okay.
Yep.
So I go to database selection, and I select down here, Healy Gold. So I come down here and I touch that. And I can start an analysis, and I'm going to surrogate for the group. I put my finger on the little sign there.
Another way of looking at it is if this were all of the programs, this is all the pink app programs that I'm showing you on this document, about 130 of them. In a matter of 2 scans that John's doing, we're finding out what's the number 1.
So here we are. Pure comes up as our number 1 program for the group at 54%, and then we have energy, being, balance, and release. So I will come down here, and if I wanted to, it says show PDF here. If you had a friend of yours and they're remote, or even if they're close, you can generate a PDF and you can email it to them. So I'm generating a PDF, and there's a picture of us as a group, and it has the information that we just saw. And if I touch this little guy right up here, it brings up, where do I want to mail it to? Do I want to send it as a text message? Do I want to send it as an email? I've got a variety of different options of how I can send it to somebody. And if I already have some people up in my list, I can already just quickly send it to them here. But I'm not going to send it to anybody right now. I'm just going to come over here and cancel where that X is. But what I will do is I'm going to send it to the group. as vibrations. I'm sending it for a minute, 20 seconds. So everybody in this group right now, and if it was a family, you're sending this to your family right now. Your family would be getting these vibrations if they were entered in as a family. Or if it was your business associates, you put them in as a business group. So I'm going to pause again in a second and see if there's any questions from anybody over here, what we've done so far. And then I'll show you the, what Zach was attempting to show you was all these program sets of what we did that are in the pink app. So I can show you all the programs that we just did. So right now, everybody is receiving these frequencies. I mean, isn't that amazing? You can be over here. In fact, I see one of my friends over there in Nelson, British Columbia. Hey, Lars. He's getting the frequencies way over there in British Columbia. And I've got people on the East Coast getting them. I mean, they just go all over. So I will, it'd be kind of fun. We haven't done this before. I'll run an aura analysis of the group. So here we go. I'm going to record the aura of the group, see what we look like as a group. What does our aura look like? Okay, so it draws this. So there's people that do these aura photography things that works on their energy level. And this is what it looks like for us as a group.
It's pretty good.
And I can come down here and start an analysis for the group. And then, so this up here is, this shows us the percentage. These terms over here, I can send it to people if anyone's interested, but these numbers, C1, C2, LMC, these are homeopathy symbols, and they talk about levels of strength, and that's what these are. And there's a chart that actually talks about homeopathy. So in homeopathy, they have this thing of like cures like, and then they have a sense of power where they dilute stuff. They'll take one drop, put it in a quart jar. They'll mix that up of some substance, whatever it is. Then in that quart jar, they'll take one drop out of that and they'll drop it into another quart jar, mix that up, dilute it, and then they'll take it in that quart jar and drop it into another one to dilute. And in each one of those successive jars where they put that drop, they actually track it with this kind of number. Is it diluted 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000, 1 to 10,000, 1 to 100,000? And that's a way that they have this energy. So I come through here, and again, I'm vibrating these frequencies to us in that. So again, I just maybe want to pause for a moment and see if there's anybody that has a question what we've done so far here tonight. But in this moment, folks are receiving the frequencies. And in a moment, once we take a break here, I will transition and I will move it to the pink app so I can show you all the frequencies in there. And maybe if some of the folks over there who have had their Healy for a while, if they'd be willing maybe to share what they've learned in the last week or 2 weeks or what experience they've had with their Healy and in the frequencies. I'd love to hear that. I love to learn, to find out what's going on with folks as they're experimenting with this, because it helps me learn too. So when this thing pauses, I'm going to then and I'll look for somebody to raise their hand or somebody who wants to share. And then if Yeah, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to transition out of this app and open up the Pink Dot app. And what I basically did there is I killed an app. This is, you know, when you kill apps on your iPad or wherever you're at, this is just how you get rid of applications. It's like quitting an app on your computer. And why you want to do this is, you know, your Healy will work better. This is the newer iPad, so I don't have that problem as much because it's got a lot of horsepower. But I've now killed it, so my Healy is turned off. And my Healy is turned off, so I'm going to turn it on. And it started to blink over there, so my Healy is turned on. And I'm going to open up the Pink Dot app. And you're going to see this little wheel down here spin.
Here, by the way. No, I'm asking you, Pete. I'm being confused.
And so now I get the little notice sign. And so there's two ways to navigate when you're in the Pink Dot app. So it's connected with Healy. Up here you see these three little bars. Watch what happens when I touch there. I see all the programs: Gold Cycle, Pain, Learning, Fitness. These are categories. So in a moment when we ran that first scan, we ran our very first scan, across these categories, we were running to find out what were the top categories, what were the top 5 categories across deep cycle protection, chakras, meridians, you know, 1 and 2, bioenergetics, 1 and 2, beauty, mental balance, sleep, fitness, learning, pain stimulation. And under each one of these categories, excuse me, like under Healy Gold Cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 programs. If I click down here on this button, I'll navigate one to the right. I have the pain. There's 8 programs there that work here. If I click one more to the right, if I click this little guy, I come over here in learning. There's 9 programs working on your memory, acute, concentration, or systemic. If you got a test coming up, or you know, if you had some kind of stressful thing coming, maybe you're playing in a bridge tournament, I don't know, and you're a little nervous. So you could use this to run if you wanted to relax yourself. Fitness, I know I'm going to be able to hear from one of my friends. He's run this and injured himself, and he's run these programs to help support himself through skiing accidents. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe he'll pipe up when I give him a moment. Over here, job, sleep. So these top things are jobs. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're actually at your job working. You could be doing something around the house, or you're working with people, but here's things that where you go like, I just don't have enough energy to get my thing done during the day, or what have you, or I'm extremely stressed. I've run this with a couple people and I've just seen dramatic results where I've had a friend come in here who was completely stressed out, ran this, we sat down, we had a latte, he ran this, it was a 60-minute program, and by the end of it, he was just dumbfounded. He goes, I can't believe how calm I am. I don't have these thoughts racing through my head. And then of course, these programs down here, there's 4 programs for sleep to help you with your sleep at night. Here's sort of the mental balance programs that have a lot of different mental balance programs. Now, some people, they get a little frustrated because there's not a lot of language with these frequencies when you read a description. And I get that. I mean, I understand that frustration. So my answer for that right now, as I understand it, Healy was brought into the United States as a cleared Class 2 medical device, as a TENS unit. And as a TENS unit, because it uses microcurrents, it uses electricity. But what Healy really does, they use the electricity. You don't feel the electricity like you do in a TENS unit where your muscles are twitching. Healy uses microcurrents, which are 1,000 times less powerful than in a TENS unit, but they're to vibrate frequencies in to your body. So the FDA just cleared this as a TENS unit, that's fine, but really what this is a frequency delivery device. And so we're building momentum. It's sort of like a Trojan horse, you know, because they don't really understand frequencies, and frequencies had been pushed aside 100 years ago. They've been around for a long time. So this is a way to get frequencies back in everybody's hands. For everybody here, if I go to the beauty and skin programs, you can see that you work on your hair, your skin elasticity, your nails, aging. If you've got a cut or a wound, you can do some wound support here. Work on scar tissue. Here's the bioenergetic with the balance programs. You can work on your eyes, your hormones, your menstrual, menopause, potency. All these frequencies are just gathered together in chunks to help you. They know that there's certain frequencies that just work on these areas of your body. So in any one of these little circle programs here, there could be up to over 500, maybe even 750 individualized frequencies that are in this program category. So these are all the categories that we go across. So I'm going to pause here again for a moment, and I want to see if anybody would like to share what their experience has been with Healy, or if you have a question with what I've shown you here so far. So pop up a hand, we'll unmute you. We'll see what anybody would like to offer right now.
Hey, John, it's Paul. Sorry, I popped on late and I've been having a little bit of, I've been having some technical issues with my internet. It's very choppy tonight for me. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Thanks, Paul. Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to add a little something going over all those programs. And you mentioned that, you know, there could be upwards of 750, you know, a lot of different frequencies within each of those programs. And the great thing about the Healy and what I've learned is that over time your body changes frequency. So the more you use the Healy, depending on, you know, where you're at physically, mentally, bioenergetically, that can change with time. And what's great about the Healy is that it almost has some type of artificial intelligence inside. So your body only needs a portion of those frequencies, whether there's 750 or 1,000 in those programs. A lot of times you're only utilizing a select few of those, and that can change from application to application. So it's not a static product. So frequencies all the time. That Healy can actually read your body, your bioenergetic field, and deliver the frequencies that you're imbalanced in. So it just kind of an add-on to what you were saying there.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. And yeah, anybody else would like to share?
I had a couple of experiences recently that I'd like to share.
Okay, we can hear you. You're kind of muted, Lars.
Okay.
That's a little better.
How's that?
Much better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, great. So most recently, I've been, over the last probably 3 weeks, I've been focusing on the eye program because working with computers and that, my eyes get tired. And so it makes it, you know, when I get into reading the fine print on something, my eyes get really stressed. And so about a month and a half ago, I booked an eye exam. I've never had one before. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll go in and just get a baseline. So I went in there after running the program, maybe 8 times over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and went in, and the doctor who looked at my eyes and took the picture of it was really impressed at how healthy my eye was, the physical eye. When he looked at it, I don't know all the words for them, but he just was impressed by how smooth the tissues of the eye and all the different facts about it. So that was one thing, and I can't say Healy did that, but I'm curious what the effect the Healy had in that outcome, and the fact that I'm going to be 74 this year. So the other thing was we were visiting our family up the lake, and our son-in-law came in with a really sore wrist from a previous injury, and I put on the pain for local pain 4, I believe it was, and did that for 20 minutes, and he phoned back later, probably an hour later, and said the pain had almost gone away, and he was really happy about that. So, and the other thing I'd like to just bring up is, I think John mentioned it about my ski experience. About 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I was ski touring, and when I was coming down off of White Queen, this mountain I was toured up, my boot popped out of the ski, and I ended up twisting my knee as I fell down. And so I got up on my skis again and put everything back together and skied the rest of the way down, hobbled to my truck. And that evening, I couldn't walk. My knee was so incredibly painful. It was just, I thought, oh, this is going to be a 6-week injury. So I started applying the Healy, the pain and muscle and, whatever intuitively I thought was appropriate. And then the next morning, I woke up and I expected it to be very swollen and bruised. My wife thought that I would need to go to the hospital to get an MRI or something, But we looked at it, there was no swelling. I was like gobsmacked. It was like, in my experience, I do a lot of athletic things over the years, and this kind of injury was like going to be all swollen, turning yellow and nice shades of purple. Nothing. It was still painful, and I still couldn't walk very well. But by Sunday, I was walking, and by Monday I was walking normal, and by the following Thursday I was up skiing again. So that's pretty impressive. That really was a convincer for me.
So what happened, I just want to highlight something too, that what Lars did is there's a magic window when you have an acute injury. When something happens right away, if you get on Healy within 4 hours or less, you can dramatically change the course of an injury. Isn't that right, Lars?
Yeah, that's what I understood. So I immediately, after I was done, came home and started applying it. So we got it in there, I think, within 3 hours. So that made a big difference, I think.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was good. Thank you for sharing. Anybody have some questions? Or do you have anything else, Lars?
No, that's
good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I see, Anae, you've got your hand up. Let's go through. You go ahead and unmute. Anae, I'm trying to unmute you. I don't know if I'm asking you to unmute, so you can unmute.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, we hear you.
Am I here? Yes, I'm here. Question about the gold program.
Yeah.
Is there any listing of the potential that is in each one of the sections of that? For instance, the pure addresses what? Is there any information that kind of gives us that? Because I'm being asked that by several people. So what does pure mean? And what does being mean? What does, I can understand what relax is, but the others, or is it when we run that, we need to pay attention to all the things that are coming up on the resonance scan?
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead and share my screen? I just to reference the gold
Sure.
cycles.
Yeah,
I have a sheet that I can pull up quick.
Sure. I'll stop sharing. You got it, Paul.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
Let me. other one here. So can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a reference sheet. It actually goes over all the gold cycle programs. I have a sheet for each of them, and we can probably get this distributed out. There's many of them floating out there. This gives a really good description on each of the gold cycle programs and what they really concentrate on.
The one that's
this what
showing
you're
right now,
referencing?
Paul, the one that's showing right now are the meridians 1 and 2.
Oh, hold on. Let me pop off share real quick. Let me grab something.
Well, if you have that one, we can have them all. Hello.
Yes, absolutely. Now you see the gold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Awesome.
So we can definitely, John, I think do you have this as well?
I've seen this one. I don't know if I have it readily handy right now, though.
Well, I'll get it put in one document and we can get it shared.
Yep.
But it does a
Wonderful.
really good job on all the programs and really goes into detail on what they work on. I mean, PEER is basically a toxin. CARE's really all over. CARE's probably one of my favorite programs out there. I think it does a really good job at just overall health and balancing. And then in the beginning, I was big on release because I had pain when I first came in with Healy, and that helped me quite a bit. But they have these on every program description that Healy has, and I'll get this put together in one document.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. I don't
you're welcome.
even care. I just simply douse it out and say, this is where we're going, and it makes a difference. So the less descriptive is okay with me, but we got heady people that want to know. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Somebody else with a question? Somebody else with some stories they want to share? What's happened to them in the last week or 2 or 3 with Healy? Got kind of a quiet group tonight.
Well, I can tell you one of my instances here that I don't do a lot of, and what we kind of I'm sorry I was late, but did we touch on any of the mental balance or
No.
like that? Okay. All right. I didn't want to get off topic too much, but I did an activation one. It was the first time I've ever done activation. It's under the job programs. And I did that a week ago, and I have never within probably 45 minutes, I feel like I could have answered any question any threw at me. It was one of those things where I was having a conversation in an interview, and it just flowed very freely from my mind. You know how sometimes you can get blocks and you have to think about stuff. I'm coming from my background with fibromyalgia and stuff like that. You tend to get a brain fog and things don't flow as easily. But with that program, within 45 minutes, it was a night and day difference. And I think there's only been one product that's done that to me in the past, but it was a powder that I took a while back. But this was it was so natural, and it just felt good to think really clear. So it was neat to try different programs because there's so many of them, and we a lot of times stick to what we know. So it was nice to have that experience.
That's great. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for sharing that. I haven't tried that one yet. I might have to go give it a shot. I mean, there's a lot of programs in here. Sometimes you kind of just get overwhelmed with like, well, which way do I go? But I like the way that you just did that, Paul. You just took a chance and said, okay, I'm gonna go give that a try and see how I feel. And that's one of the ways that you just learn these frequencies. You run it, you try it, you feel it, you get an experience, and then you have a knowing of what that program did. And sometimes if you don't know anything, then maybe apparently your body didn't need what you chose.
Yep, exactly.
John,
Yep.
I have a question about the deep cycle.
Okay.
I was wondering, do you have to go through from beginning to end with 1, 2, and 3, and then work through sequentially, or can you jump in at any one of them?
Well, the recommendation is on the first 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
There is you jump into those 3 you attempt to do those sequentially.
Okay.
And the reason they go through it and you might do 1 depending on how your body experiences it. If you kind of have a big experience with it, well, then you just stick with 1 for a little bit. Then you could graduate from 1 to 2. And 3 is basically full force. It's just a stronger implementation of 2 and 1. So it's a graduation one. Then my understanding is you can kind of bounce around those after that. And I've got a video link from Jan is the Norwegian guy who put these together. That if if you're interested, I'll send that over to you.
That'd be great.
It's an hour video of his, and I've connected with him, and got my fingers crossed that maybe some night, or maybe it'll be earlier because he's in Norway, that he might come on and talk to us as a group and tell us more about his deep cycle programs that he's created here.
Great. That'd be wonderful. Thanks.
Yep.
And I do have an add-on to that as well. There's actually, and John, I don't know where I found this or if even you sent it to me, but again, I have a by Jan about the deep cycle programs, and it goes over the process as to how you want to go about it and why each one does what it does. Basically, the intention of the first treatment, it's a very light touch on the biofield. So and then it kind of gets more intense as you go through 1, 2, and 3. But I have another, it's probably a 6-page document here that I will scan, and we can distribute that as well. And does a really good job. It tells you when to start the second treatment. Like here it says first treatment when it's, your first visit, generate a good connection and good feeling for frequency. It works on kidney, lungs are touched, sensitivity reduced, pain reduced, and balance induced. And second treatment, it says when, and this is just an example, it says next visit, unless the first treatment was too powerful, then you're going to want to run the first treatment again. Say you got a Herx reaction from the first treatment, and just from my past experience that happens. I got a really bad Herx on the third application. So I did it for a few days before moving on to other programs, but it gives a really good outline. If you don't have an hour to watch a video, I can get that together too and send that out.
Perfect. Yeah, I think I did forward that to you, Paul. Thanks for reminding.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah. Well, I wonder this. Maybe what we do is I could, somebody else have something they'd like to offer or a question. What's a question that somebody has that maybe there's a challenge you're having or anything in using your product? I know that sometimes we have glitches, and we can work with you individually on those and how to get support tickets going, but any questions? Otherwise, maybe what I'll do is I'll do another scan for the group. Zach, you got anything in the moment here?
I guess just to touch on the mental balance programs really quick. I had a situation where last fall where I was with somebody that was having a sort of an emotional breakdown, where in the past when I've seen people have these like on airplanes, it's kind of where someone hands them an Ativan or something, like they're having a panic attack. So somebody I was riding in a vehicle with was having one of those, and I had my Healy with me. And I went kind of with my pure instinct, and he had never had any sort of experience with Healy prior to this. And I set it to the emotional well-being program, which is a 51-minute program that is one of those spectrum frequency programs where you have lots of different frequencies, and your body picks the ones that it likes the most, or Healy helps facilitate your body to find those frequencies for you. And I watched him within a matter of a minute close his eyes and tilt his head back, and for about a solid 40 minutes of the 51 minutes, he went into sort of a meditative state. And when he came to, he said, I don't know what you did, but I feel completely different and completely at ease and better. So there's a lot of potency to the mental balance programs.
So what I just basically did while you were sharing that, Zach, I ran a scan on us as a group, and everybody's getting the mental balance right now. So it's a little gift here from the user group, from the three amigos, popping out here to everybody out there. You know, you got some free vibes coming your way. Karen's starting to smile. I can see her face lighting up. Isn't that kind of nice? I just kind of think this is just amazing that I can send vibrations from here to there. And, you know, I share a story with my friend over there, Rachel, that I see smiling in. And she said, hey, would you go call on my mom? Would you share Healy with my mom? And, you know, I thought, okay, yeah, I'll go do that. And I'd never met Laura before. And I'm running a scan like this with Laura. And Laura happens to be very intuitive, very sensitive. And we're talking, it's my first time meeting with her. And she's in her early 80s. And we're having a nice conversation. And I push the button just like it is right now. And I'm sending her 2 minutes of frequencies. And she's in Pasadena. And she goes, oh my God. Oh my God, those are powerful. And I'm just quiet. I said, okay, I'll just be quiet. I'll let you have your experience. And we sat here and she's just going, oh, I feel this. You know, she might utter where she was feeling it. She was just like, and then when it ended, she goes, John, I'm going to go get a drink of water and lay down. I'll talk to you later. We hung up and I was like, you know, I thought, okay, but I was kind of nervous. You know, here's Rachel. She's asking me to support her mom. And, you know, I had never met her before. It's my first time. And about 75 minutes later, I go, you know, I want to go check in on her. So I thought I've got her text message and I'm putting my hands on the keyboard and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go ask Laura what's going on. How are you doing? My fingers haven't even landed on the keyboard and my text message comes up with an answer from Laura. She goes, that was amazing. And I'm going to myself, that was amazing. How did she know I was about ready to ask her a question? I was kind of blown away. It was like, but that's kind of this vision of this quantum entanglement that goes on, that we've kind of got this power that Healy's awakening in us, that we can connect with people. I mean, we've all had that experience of like, you walk into a room, you kind of get the heebie-jeebies, somebody's got a bad vibe, or there's somebody you're attracted to, or there's a good friend of yours, you haven't talked to them in a while, and you think of them, and the next thing you know, boom, your phone's ringing, you go like, no way, George, I was just thinking of you, you called me. We're into the realm of this quantum stuff with the frequencies on how this stuff works. So I'm continually amazed on my journey from, you know, September to now. I'm 4 or 5 months into it, and it still keeps blowing me away. And just like when I was hearing Lars tell me about his skiing story, it was like, oh my God, that's great. I mean, here he is in his early 70s, injures himself, gonna be out for the ski season. And what he goes, no, I'm going skiing next weekend. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I mean, frequencies. Why haven't we heard about these? What's going on? I mean, if it can have this effect with, you know, it has, you know, I see people with their pets. I have friends of mine here that have worked out with their pets, their cat, their dog, and bam, it heals Kitty or Fido. So it's just, I am just like blown away. So each week I'm just kind of blown away from what I hear out here and on frequencies. And I mean, Zach's going to be doing some really cool stuff in agriculture coming up that I'm looking forward to. And I'm a gardener, and you know, I just have a sense that we're going to be able to get some really good, healthy food. And Zach's doing some documenting of it to actually show what's happening.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's exciting.
yeah. Anybody else with a question or somebody with an observation or? I know we've got a couple people on who are, brand new and taking a look at this. So I'll just remind you that right now in February, Healy's got a promo going. And it looks like we're almost at the top of the hour here. We are. Healy's got a promo going where you can acquire the device, and they have a special where you buy the entry level model, they give you the next model up. So you buy the $500 model, they give you the $1,000 model. You buy the $1,000 model, they give you the $1,500 model. And if you buy the $1,500 model, they give you the $2,500 model. The $2,500 model is the one I was demonstrating over here with the blue dot, where you can do both the diagnostics, you can vibrate it out, and then you can also, and you've got all the software on it. The other models, you don't have this ability to do the diagnostic and sending it away, but what you have in your hands is something that's very affordable, very powerful, and you just hook yourself up with the little straps and away you go. And you can, I have a friend, actually it's Paul's brother. Paul, why don't you tell him about Craig? Craig couldn't afford anything more than $500 and he's got arthritis. Tell him about your brother, Craig.
Oh yeah, I mean, and talk about a skeptic. When he came in, my brother, and I mean, to be honest, I was a skeptic at first too, but to come into something that he saw a lot of improvement in myself, before he tried it, and he didn't have anything. He's like, well, I can't go out and spend $2,500. He's only 34 years old, and he's got really bad arthritis in his hands. And within a short period of time, just to keep I know we're running out of time, just keep the story short, within a week, he's able to clench a fist again. And the pain has now been reduced to where he doesn't even have to do it every day now. He can do it every third day. And still the inflammation in his hands have gone down. He's able to clench his fist again full. It was only about 3/4 before. So there's just been a lot of improvement there with the arthritis. And that's one thing just Healy's really good at is the inflammation process in your body and just mitigating that. So.
Yeah, and I remember one part of his story that he told me, Paul, was because I wanted to go see it. I hadn't bought it yet, and I remember when I was getting ready to buy it, Paul told me, he's like, "Hey, John, no way, you're not going to return it if you buy it. I can guarantee you that." And I said, "Well, I want to drive down and see you guys, and I want to see Craig's hands." And and Craig goes to me, he goes, "John," he goes, "this has been pretty amazing." He goes, I now can make a fist. And on this hand, my swelling has gone down where my hand is normal. But on this hand, I still have, the bad knuckles. But he goes, there are some mornings I also have it in my feet. And he goes, I couldn't walk down my stairs. I would have to butt slide down my stairs. And he goes, I don't have to butt slide anymore. I can walk down my stairs. And he goes, and my girlfriend, my partner, Michelle, she comes home from work and she's all stressed. And she has a hard time going to sleep. He goes, I run the sleep program on her, John. He goes, it's amazing. She's drooling on a pillow in 15 minutes. I just went, and Craig's just like raw, just telling it how it is. I mean, It was just like, he does a nice job of just like, hey, here's what's going on for me. So that was enough for me to get going. So I see we've come up, we're a little past 8 o'clock. We'll be back here next week. If you have anything particular in that, Paul's going to send me some stuff. I mean, you've got my email where I've sent it out, or if, Paul or Zach invited you here tonight, email them and we'll make sure we get you what we promised to, the deep cycle stuff, the description stuff on A that you brought up that you wanted to see. I'm just thinking that, so if you just ping us with that, we'll get that information out to you, and we will see you next week. Anything else you guys want to say, Zach, Paul?
No. Thanks for coming, guys. Everybody have a great week.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. Thanks for sharing your stories, Lars and Rachel. I know you're sitting there right with them, so thanks for letting me share your mom's story.
Yeah.
We'll see you all next week.
See you
All right,
next week.
thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye now.
That was
Bye.
awesome. Thank you so much. I'm a believer.
We don't believe the bottom. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, Mom.